name is Soumya Tripathi, working as Assistant Professor in Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Greater Noida, which is being affiliated from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. In today's lecture, I am going to give detail about the energy resource, which comes under the environmental science BP code BP 206T. In this, I am going to deliver a lecture on energy resource, how we are going to how we are going to save our energy resource. So, firstly I will start with the introduction part, that energy is the capacity to do work. We have to take energy for doing any of the work. We have to start with taking energy. So, energy is the capacity to do work. Energy can be changed from one form to the another, but it can neither be created nor be destroyed. Energy resource, and energy resource is something that can produce heat, it can produce power, life, and move the object and produce electricity. So, by this energy resource we are having so many things. Matter that store energy is called fuel. Now, we are going to classify this energy resource in two forms. First one is the conventional energy source and second is non-conventional energy resource. In conventional, we will discuss one by one that what is the basic difference in conventional energy resource and what is the basic difference in non-conventional, how it is differ from that conventional resource. So, first I will start with have been used since early time. This conventional resource is used from very starting era, and the availability, if we are talking about the availability, limited amount, it is having a limited amount and cannot depend for our future, and we cannot store this conventional source for our future generation. So, this is the basic difference, and this non-conventional can be is found in a very abundant amount, and this we can store for our future generation. So, this is the basic difference, and when we talk about the uses from how long it comes, this conventional is from early time and have been come into use recently, and this non-conventional we are using in our recent time. So, this is the basic difference. We can also compare both side by side. According to the nature, if we see in the conventional, exhaustible in nature, last for few years. This conventional resource can last only for few minutes, they are exhaustible, and this non-conventional are inexhaustible in nature, they are not going to exhaust and they last for so many years. But the condition on that is that if we are using it properly, they will last for so many years, means for future generation we can also store this one. Cost, the required huge capital investment. For this conventional resources we have to invest a huge amount, but here this is very cheaper one. Now, renewability, if we are talking for the renewability, once used they cannot be renewed. The conventional energy source cannot be renewed, they cannot be renewed or reformed, but this non-conventional they can renew in a very shorter period of time. Okay. If we are talking for the in against of environment, what is the response to the environment? It causes air, water and land pollution. This conventional energy source can cause so many pollution, like it cause air pollution, water and land pollution, and this they cannot form any of the pollution. So, this is also very important. Examples are coal, petroleum and natural gas. Here the examples are solar energy, wind energy, biogas, tidal energy, geothermal and many more. Now, this picture is only I have shown you for the showing the examples that this all are the pictures of the conventional resources and these all are the pictures of non-conventional resource. Now, what is conventional resource? Conventional resource, first we will talk on the coal. Coal is an inflammable inorganic substance composed of carbon compound. It is composed of carbon compound and found in many sedimentary rocks. How it forms? Coal is formed due to the compression of plant material under the heat and pressure over a very long period of year. And these variety, the forms of coal are depend basically on three major factors. First, degree of compression, depth and the time of burial. Basically on these three parameters, the different forms of coals can be formed. Now, what are the uses of coal? There are so many uses of coal, as we all know. First is the electricity generation. We are going to generate electricity. Power generation is primarily used for coal worldwide. Metal production. Metal production, in the formation of metal, we are going to use our coal. Cement production. In cement production, and cement production is very much important. So, in cement production, coal is used as a key energy source in the cement production industries. Gasification and liquefaction is also a very important topic by which we are going to use our coal. And coal is widely used as a fuel because it burns easily and release. Because why we are going to use coal? Because it burns very easily and produce high amount of heat energy. That is the reason we are going to use coal. Other fuels such as coal gas, coal tar, synthetic petrol and methane and coke are derived from the coal. We are going to derive different more items from the coal, and coke is used in the manufacturing of steel. When we are going to manufacture steel, we use coke. Why we are going to use coke? The reason behind it is that when we use coal, it produces smoke, but when we are going to use coke, it does not produce smoke. That is the reason we use the derivatives of coal. Here you see coke is used as a fuel and it preferred over the coal since it burns without smoke. This coke we use instead of this coal because it does not produce smoke. Coal tar is used in the manufacturing of many useful organic compounds. This coal tar we use in different purposes, where in pesticides, in roofing material, in paints, in synthetic dye, we are using coal tar. So, this is also a important use of coal. Places where coal found. What are the different places in India where we are having a sufficient production of coal? First is Jharkhand, Bokaro, Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu and Madhya Pradesh. These are the areas which are very rich in coal. And how we are going to conserve coal? The reason behind it is that use of alternative method. We have to use the alternative method, that we have to minimize the use of coal. So, use of alternative method, use of better technology. We have to use better technology. Judicious use means proper use of coal. Whether it is necessary, we are going to use, otherwise we have to minimize the use. Discover new reserves. We have to discover the new reserves. We have to discover the new places from where we can obtain the coal. Now, conventional resource. The next conventional resource is petroleum. Like how the petroleum is formed, like coal and natural gas, petroleum was formed from remain of ancient marine organisms such as plants, algae and bacteria. Same as the coal is formed, same likewise our petroleum is also formed, and this over millions of years under high pressure and high temperature. After so many years under high pressure, high temperature, we are going to formulate our petroleum. The remains of these organisms transformed into what we known as fossil fuel. So, likewise our coal and natural gas, our petroleum is also formed by death and decay of our plants and animal, which is compressed in a very high temperature and pressure for so many years. Petroleum includes not only the crude oil, but all the liquid and gaseous and solid hydrocarbon. It includes not only the crude oil, but along with that It also includes liquid, gaseous and solid hydrocarbons. So, under the surface pressure and temperature condition, lighter hydrocarbon like methane, ethane and propane and the butane exist as gases, while pentane and heavier hydrocarbons are in the form of liquid or solid. This is very important. However, in an underground oil reservoir, the proportion of gas, liquid and the solid depend on the subsurface condition. Subsurface condition means pressure as well as the temperature. Now, the next conventional resources are the natural gas. Natural gas also called as a fossil gas. Sometimes just gas is naturally occurring hydrocarbon gas mixtures consisting primarily of methane and commonly including various amount of higher alkanes, and sometimes a small percentage of carbon dioxide is also present in that. Okay. So, nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide or helium, it is formed when a layer of decomposing plants, animal matter are exposed to intensive heat and pressure under the surface of earth over a million of time. So, this natural gas is formed. Now, what are the uses of natural gas? Natural gas is a fossil fuel, we all know. Natural gas is non-renewable, we cannot renew our natural gas. It is used as a fuel for vehicle. For vehicle we are using this natural gas, and as a chemical feedstock in the manufacturing of plastics and other commercial important organic chemical, we are going to use our natural gas. Natural gas has the cleanest combustion profile, and that is why we are more intense toward our natural gas. Now, we are talking next conventional source of non-conventional source of energy is our solar energy. Till here we are discussing for our conventional energy resource. From here we are going to discuss in detail about the non-conventional energy resource. First thing, the first source of energy in our non-conventional is the solar energy, which can be renewed, which can be stored for our future generation. The sun is an incredible and renewable resource. This can be renewed. This resource is renewed, and that has the power to fuel life on earth and provide clean sustainable energy to all form of the life and inhabitants. In fact, more energy from the sun reaches our planet in 1 hour, and that is used by the entire population in a world. So, this type of energy is very much important. Now, what are the uses of solar energy? How we are going to use this? So, here first you see the solar heating. Being an excellent tool for heating, solar thermal collectors allow people to harness PV for the heat and energy rather than converting the solar light into the electricity. This is also very much important. These solar installations use the heat generated by the sun to increase the temperature of the water or the fluid flowing through the pipes in the collector. So, we are going to heat this solar heating, we are going to use this solar heating. Now, it generates electricity, we are going to generate electricity also. How we are going to generate electricity? We use electricity for lighting as well as to run several home appliances. So, we are using the solar heaters in a different form. It costs a bump when we see our electric bill at the month end. So, this is very interesting that when we are using the electricity, but when we are seeing the bill, it create a problem for all of us. So, if we are going to use this solar energy, then we are enjoying. So, this is the main reason. With the use of solar panel, one can do everything with the generate electricity normally and can save themselves from heavy electricity bill. This is also a main reason. In cooking also we can use our solar energy. How How we can use? Apart from other things, solar energy is highly useful for daily cooking too. We can use solar energy in our cooking. During the cooking time, we can easily use solar energy to cook a meal. Likewise, as we are using electricity. Charging batteries. We can also charge our battery by the use of our solar system. We can also charge a device that is a battery operated with solar energy, and the photoelectric solar panels generate DC direct current, which is same form which is used in most of the battery. Solar transportation. Solar transportation is one of the biggest concern today, is the end of petroleum in future. So, by that it is very interesting to know the solar energy in many cities across the globe is being used transportationally purpose. So, we have to focus, we have to have a key observation on that how we are going to transport that solar energy in different form. Tidal energy. When we are going to discuss about the non-conventional energy source, first we have discussed the solar energy source. Here we see the tidal energy. Tidal power or the tidal energy is harnessed by converting energy from tides into the useful form of power, mainly electricity, using various methods. Although not yet widely used, tidal energy has the potential for the future electricity generations, and tides are more predictable than the winds and the sun. So, by this way we can also increase, we can also store our energy resource for our coming generation, and it is predictable, we can predict it in a very simple form. Tidal power has many advantages as compared to the other form of renewable energy. Global climate change should only be increase its generation capacity due to the higher ocean level. So, we can also increase this power generation. It is completely carbon neutral like winds and hydro energy, and like geothermal energy. This is also very important, that geothermal energy we can also store our energy for our coming generation by this method only. Geothermal energy is the heat inside the earth. Geothermals comes from the Greek word, ge means earth and thermos means heat. So, heat inside the earth, we can also generate the heat from our earth for future generation. Thus, geothermal energy means the heat inside the earth. We can produce the energy by this also. It is a thermal energy in the earth crust which originate from the formation of the planet and from radioactive decay of material in currently uncertain but possibly roughly equal to the proportion. So, we are going to increase our energy from this also. Lastly, we have to focus on how we are going to conserve energy. The basic importance is that after discussing all the conventional energy resource, non-conventional energy resource, we are going to increase, we are going to have a concern on conservation of these energy. So, conserving energy means decreasing the amount of energy which use achieving a similar outcomes and the end. We have to conserve our energy, we have to save our energy for our next one. So, we have to focus, we have to use that energy in a very systematic manner, judicious manner. Using less energy has lots of benefit. You can save money as well as the environment. So, using less, if we are going to use less amount of energy, we are going to save two things. Firstly, we will expend less money, so we will save our money as well as our environment can also be protected. Using less energy helps to preserve these resources and make last for longer in future. By using this, we are going to save our environment, we are going to save our money, and also we are going to preserve our resources, we are going to save our resources. If we are using all these resources in a very judicious manner, in a very proper manner, we are lastly having a benefit of what? We will enjoy all the resources for a long term, as well as all the future one can also enjoy these things. So, we have to concern on this. Next, there is an urgent need to develop a sustainable path of energy development. We have to develop a sustainable path. We have to follow a sustainable path how we are going to develop our energy resource. So, in this, here you see the consumption of energy in all forms have been steadily rising all over the country. All are using the energy in a very different form. In all houses we are going to take energy from for different tools. So, we have to think on that how we are going to minimize our energy resource. Therefore, it is necessary to minimize the consumption. We have to focus on minimum use of the energy, and for that we must keep in mind that our energy resources are limited. What we have to think? We have to think that the energy resource which we are using nowadays is very limited, and if we are not having a deep concern on that energy resource, it will create problem for our future generation. So, we have to think on that. The success of economic development plans depends on energy resource. The economic development of our country depends on that energy resource, because for developing the different field we have to use our energy resource. So, it is also very important for our country. So, we have to think on that. It is important to conserve energy resource, because once we use them all, then it will become difficult to find them, or they are not completely exhausted. It will be the history for all of us once we use. And if we are not going to have a deep concern on that particular conservation of energy resource, we will face a very severe problem in coming generation. So, we have to focus on that also. The conventional energy resource like fossil fuel, coal, petroleum are depleted completely, and it is difficult to find the other source or may not be sufficient as required. So, in this we also say that coal, petroleum, they are found in very limited amount, and it is a very problematic for all of us that if we are not going to think on that, it will create a problem for everyone. So, we have a deep concern on this also. Though we are finding other resources as biodiesel and are non-conventional and does not affect our environment. So, we have to think on more thinking, we have to focus on what? Non-conventional source like biodiesel, all the energy resources which are not going to affect our environment, we have to think on that also. And then we need to cultivate land. We have, for that generation, we have to cultivate more land for that settlement, for the production, for the setting of all these things. We have to focus more on that. So, which in turn called food shortage. If we are going to increase all the different plants, like here I have said biodiesel can be set up. So, if we are going to set up that biodiesel, we have to take land, and if we are going to take land, what will happen? We are suffering from the food shortage in future. So, this is one drawback which we are facing. How to save energy resource? How we are going to save it? There are a number of ways by which we are going to save this. Always switch off light and fan while going out of the room. We have to practice that. We have to switch off all the light and fans when we are not in the room. We should not open fridge frequently. If we are going to open the unnecessary fridge and all the electric gadget, it will create problem. It will consume more of the energy. So, we have to avoid this. While going to purchase new product, example geyser, television, CFL, instead of rating ranging from 4 to 5, we have to insist for rating ranging from 4 to 5, we have to focus on that. Increase everyone's understanding of benefits of energy efficiency. We have to educate, we have to motivate that each and everyone, not only the student, each and everyone have a better understanding that how we are going to utilize our energy resource in a very judicious manner. So, we have to focus on that also. The slogan reduce, reuse and recycle, these 3 R should be followed, where against the non-renewable resources, means we have to follow 3 things. What 3 things? We have to reduce, reuse and recycle, and is widely used to raise awareness against the use of non-renewable renewable source of energy. First thing, lastly I am going to give one very short introduction in that. We have to focus for the conservation of energy resource, we have to focus on 3 things. We have to reuse, reduce and recycle our different energy resources, and we have to switch on our non-conventional energy resource, as well as we have to give awareness to each and every individual that we have to conserve, we have to judicially use our energy resource for our coming days. Thank you.